Standing in the wake of this train wreck, my heart is beating faster in my chest. This depression terrifies me. When I'm awake, it's like these thoughts, they paralyze me. I don't wanna feel like this. I don't wanna feel like this. Time stops, weightless and cold. Silence burns like fire while my fears unfold. There's panic. Tooth to my cheek, too hard to speak without you. Lungs drain to air. Life feels unfair without you. Come back to me. Don't leave me to dream about you. Dream about you. Dream about you. How can I breathe without you? How can I breathe without you? Without you. What is left to say when the sky falls? I'm staring at your ghost in the stars. There's not a day that I don't miss you. The feeling swelling overflow. It's like I see you, hear you. I don't wanna feel like this. Why do I still feel like this? Heart ripped out of my brain. I sit here talking to myself. I think I'm going insane. Tooth to my cheek, too hard to speak without you. Lungs drain to air. Life feels unfair without you. Come back to me. Don't leave me to dream about you. Dream about you. Dream about you. How can I breathe without you? How can I breathe without you? The only way to fix this, the only way to fix this pain inside, the only way to fix this is a deep breath in as you say goodbye.
I kick ass for the Lord.
What about me?
I never loved him the way that I love you. Just drops the mic.
Sydney with his butt.
Can't see it from here.
What about the panty?
What about the
Joe?
panty? What's up, Butters? What's up, Butters? Welcome in, everybody, to this week's episode of 52/1993, the Conversation Podcast about movies from the year 1993. We're talking about the good ones, the bad ones, the okay ones, the long ones, the short ones, the fat ones, the tall ones. I don't know what I'm even saying anymore. I'm also drinking a little bit today, so we might be a little bit loose on this, fast and loose. But I want to welcome everybody in. Thank you for showing up. And to this week's show, we're talking about The Firm. And that's a great movie to talk about. It's a fun movie to talk about. I've got my special co-host with me, Joe Sawyer, as always, to come in and really, I feel like this is one of your first like serious ones. Maybe I'm wrong. Did we do a serious one last time?
I don't think so. I feel, yeah, this seemed like maybe the first serious one. Like, everything else has been silly.
Everything else has been silly, and this one's okay. I mean, for you, I mean, I'm eager to see what you have to say about it, but I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're watching it with me. We're watching it on the screen back here, The Firm on VHS.
Nice.
I don't have to worry about it running out before this is over because this is the longest movie I think I've ever seen in my entire life. So that's pretty special to me. And we've got Joe. So let's go ahead and just start talking about it. Let me introduce the movie and get to know it a little bit better. So this movie is called The Firm. As you all know, it came out on June 30th, 1993. It was directed by the famous director Sidney Pollack. It was written by David Rabe, Robert Towne, and David Raphael, based on the novel by John Grisham. He had quite a year this year. We've got The Pelican Brief coming out later this year, too. I think that's his. And in this cast, we've got Tom Cruise as Mitch McDeere, Jean Triplehorn as Abby McDeere, Gene Hackman as Avery, Holly Hunter, Tammy, Ed Harris as Agent Wayne Terrence, Gary Busey as Eddie Lomax, David Strathairn as Ray McDeere. We've got a bunch of other people in here, too. We've got Hal Holbrook, Wilford Brimley, of the diabetes commercials, Margot Martindale, Paul Sorvino shows up for a little bit, Tobin Bell of Saw fame, Dean Norris of Breaking Bad fame, Karina Lombard has a brief appearance in this. Let me give you a little bit of a synopsis around this. A young lawyer joins a small but prestigious law firm only to find out that most of their clients are on the wrong side of the law. The company is helping to launder mob money, get clients off charges, and even murder partners who threaten to blow their cover. But when the FBI come calling to gather evidence on the lawyer's colleagues, he is caught between a rock and a hard place, juggling his life and his liberty. This movie had a budget of $42 million. It had a box office return of $270.2 million, leaving it around third or fourth in the rankings for this year. So pretty big deal. It's no Jurassic Park, but this was a slam dunk of a movie this year. For Rotten Tomatoes, they gave it a 76%. IMDb a little bit lower with a 6.8 out of 10. Couple reviews real quick. Parts of The Firm are better than the whole. However, the movie lacks overall clarity, and in the last half hour, audiences are likely to be confused over what's happening and why. That was a positive review from Roger Ebert. He gave it 3 out of 4 stars. And then here's a really negative review. Very little of what made the written version so enjoyable has been successfully translated to the screen. And what we're left with instead is an overly long, 2 hours and 34 minutes to be exact, pedantic thriller. James Berardinelli, 1.5 out of 4 stars. This movie also has a little bit of a legacy behind it. It's got 2 Academy Award nominations, one for Best Supporting Actress for Holly Hunter, who plays Tammy, and Best Original Score, which we'll talk about. And it also spawned a TV sequel that only lasted 1 season in 2011, and it was shortly canceled. So, Joe,
Womp womp.
what's your initial thoughts on this movie?
You know, I was a big John Grisham person back in like high school days. Like,
I thought you were. You like this and Michael Crichton or your
yeah, those were like, I mean, I didn't read like a whole lot, so I never got into a lot of depth, I guess you would say, in the reading world. But like Grisham and Crichton were like as far as I would go as like getting too dense and like still being like kind of feeling modern and like so yeah, I don't agree with that second review. Like, did he read the book? Like, because it was the same, like long and drawn out. Like, so I'm not really sure how. Anyways, but yeah,
No,
it was fine. It was fun. Like, not fun. Fun's not the right word. It was intriguing. Kind of felt like a mystery unfolding slowly and like a lot of thriller elements. It did feel a little long, but it didn't really lose me completely at any
right.
point.
I think I agree with you. It is I have two of my biggest complaints, and I'll cover them later. But yes, this movie was it. I mean, 2.5 hours is not that long of a movie in comparison to what we've seen in the last like 5 to 10 years. Like I feel like every movie is 2.5 hours. I watched a movie on Friday night that felt like it was I mean, it was very entertaining, but it was also a long movie in my eyes. Like and that one we can talk about later too. But yeah, like I never lost my interest. I was kind of into it the entire time, even the parts that I was kind of confused about, maybe some of the legal stuff and I didn't really understand right away, or it didn't click until the very end, or any of that stuff. I was still like into it. I mean, it's a Tom Cruise movie. I love Tom Cruise. As crazy as that guy is, like he's still awesome. So let's get into some of these categories. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. The first category we've got are the best scenes. This is what is the 4 to 5 scenes that really make the movie. I didn't know what to write because there aren't like firm scenes for me in this. Firm, it's a pun. But I think I really I'll just go ahead and start with the opening scenes. I think the interviews that Mitch does, like our introduction to Mitch and Tom Cruise's character Mitch as he goes through, from firm to firm, trying to decide where he wants to work and everything. Like they show him just like running around. He's playing basketball at one point. One thing, I'm not sure Tom Cruise knows how to play basketball. I don't think he does. We see him running in every movie, but
he runs.
he
He's a runner.
runs. The guy can run better
He
than
can get
anything.
up and down the court, but like beyond that, I don't know.
I'm curious about it though, because I feel like he's played some kind of sports in every movie. Like they're not.
Has he
I
done
also-
basketball? Surely.
He's
No.
like he's short. He's like 5. I don't even remember how short he is, but he's short. He's not Danny DeVito short or anything, but I just the only reason this is on my mind, I saw it on the screen when I was starting it. I mean, it's like 3 seconds of basketball. He's a tiny little dude.
That's probably all we needed of that. 3
Yeah,
seconds.
yeah. I swear I've seen him play sports in other movies, and it's just not good. I don't think he understands them. That's what it really leans into.
Well, yeah, most like sports people are huge and tall, and I mean he's not. He looks athletic. I mean, but
He does look
with
athletic.
the short, yeah, he's probably like he's not driving the lane.
He's definitely not. He's more of a point guard, I
Yeah.
would say.
Shooting the through ball.
Yeah, something like that. He's not. He's a playmaker. He makes things happen.
Playmaker. Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go.
I liked the scene in the very beginning. Kind of gives you the tenacity, I would say, of our character. Really shows off what he's looking for and how much he values himself when he's going through these interviews. And then he finally gets to the interview and of course, I didn't write down the law firm's name, the Memphis law firm that
Yeah.
is that this is all about. But they offer him the job. They give him an offer. They don't even tell him the offer. He still hasn't he doesn't even look at it before he gets home to his wife, and he's like, I didn't even look at it. I accepted it. We're going to Memphis.
Yeah, they do like a little fun interrogation or like a courtroom thing where he's like asking them a bunch of questions to like scope out what the offer is without opening the envelope. It was cool. Like you get a little sense of like who he is and his talents as a lawyer.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we get to know a little bit. I'm combining this too, these interview scenes. I'm also combining this with when him and his wife Abby travel to Memphis, and like they wine and dine them, and like Mitch is over the moon for this. He's like, Memphis is incredible, and I've been to Memphis. And
The barbecue did look pretty good on the
Memphis barbecue.
Like,
that is pretty good.
I wonder if that was like authentic there at the little like wine and dine barbecue that they did. It looks good.
They showed the Peabody sign in the background, but I don't think they're on the Peabody hotel. They're in another hotel. They had to basically like shut down that hotel to shoot that. So I'm sure it was great.
Yeah.
We also get that scene of him like going down Beale Street and seeing one of those kids flipping, and he's like, I can do this too. It's one of my favorite parts of this movie is like when Mitch is happy, he can do backflips. When Mitch is sad and depressed, he's not doing it. He's not doing backflips. So we get introduced to the firm very early on. They also have like these weird rules. Or not rules, they're just kind of, you need to like, you'll start having kids. Like, it's so weird. And we already get that, like, hey, this job is already really weird. And Abby catches on, but Mitch is just like, whatever. I'm getting paid like $150,000 to be a first year lawyer. So I'm going to do it.
Yeah. With that kind of money,
Yeah. All right. So that's my like first scene out of the gate. What do you have anything like, what do you got written down here?
Yeah, this one was a little bit tricky because, like you said, the scene, the pacing was pretty quick. Like there was a lot of like shorter scenes, I feel like, versus scenes that kept focus a long time, or like scenes where you were like cutting back and forth between two things like happening at the same time. I really did like that opening scene, though. I thought it was a great way to like sort of reveal things about Tom Cruise, like through these interviews. Like we see him like still working a job, so he's not like completely off planet Earth. Like you kind of get the sense that he's like gotten to where he is because of his hard work, versus like just daddy sent me to law school and I'm gonna be like daddy kind of thing. So the opening scene was definitely on my list. I really liked that. I thought this may be moving a little bit too far, but like the next one that really was like kind of stand out to me was when we start like really getting the sense that something is off when the lawyers, the two guys die.
Yeah.
And then like just kind of seeing like his reaction to that and like kind of probing a little bit, and like you kind of get the sense that like he maybe is feeling a little bit of what Abby was feeling, that something's off, and starts doing some of his like investigative work.
Yeah, I like that scene that you're talking when they go over to their friend's house and the wife greets them because they were like supposed to hang out or whatever. The wife greets them, but the husband's in the backyard and he's just letting that like the sprinkler just hit him. Hit him in the legs. Like he's so depressed about these two lawyer friends of his that have accidentally died in the Caymans. And we find out later that it was not an accident, but
Of course.
that's gotta be heavy.
Yeah. Well, apparently, they're supposed to be like all so close in family, which makes sense once you kind of figure out what's going on later. But like, I guess, two family members dying. So yeah, he's pretty broken. He was a terrible smoker. Like one of the least convincing, like smoking a cigarette people I've ever
Mhm.
seen on screen when he was out there. So it was very it caught my eye for whatever reason. But yeah,
We should do one of these just on best smoking scenes in movies. I think that would be a great like
there's some good ones.
30-minute discussion there just about
Yeah.
best smoking because I've got some thoughts.
Some people do it well. Some people
Man.
just you
You know
can tell.
you know who smokes a cigarette better than anybody?
Let's hear it.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay. Yeah.
He smokes a cigarette so good. He smokes it in the coolest way. Like I know I'm going off topic. I'm a little inebriated.
It's all
I'm going
good.
off topic a little bit.
go there.
In Romeo and Juliet, he's writing in his journal and he's got this cigarette like placed between these two fingers here as he's writing. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen on camera.
Yeah.
So
I feel like maybe Shutter Island too. Like there were some like really good smoking moments.
he's a good smoker, man.
Yeah. I believe it. I might consider that to be like a number one. I don't know. There's some other good ones out there too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We'll have to revisit.
Yeah, we'll revisit. We'll have a separate conversation on this alone. I think after the funeral of those two people, I think that's when Mitch gets to go to the Caymans with we meet Avery, who's Gene Hackman's character, who's like very charismatic and is going to be his mentor and everything. And they decide to send Mitch and Avery on this trip to the Caymans to talk to this guy named Sonny Caps. And this is also like after what you said about the investigative stuff. This is when Mitch kind of gets into that investigation mode and starts seeing things as weird. And he discovers things at their whatever condo or whatever they have like rented down there that they always rent or use, beach house, whatever it is. But he discovers files from all of the dead lawyers from that firm. And this is also where Mitch gets into a little bit of trouble in the Caymans. I think somebody propositions him at the bar.
Yes.
To like, I think a sex worker propositions him at the bar and is like, "Hey, come back to the room or whatever." And he's like, "No, thank you." And then he sees a girl getting assaulted on the beach, or not like I don't even. It was the weakest. Not that I'm saying assault. I'm struggling right now.
I know what you're saying. Saying. It wasn't like, like fisticuffs. It was like more like grabby and kind of like Yankee.
It was like a wrestling grapple.
Yeah. We weren't full on like, brawling, but it was definitely enough to make like a passerby,
right,
cruise uncomfortable.
And this is where the guy who is performing the assault, performing is the best word to use here.
Yes,
he runs off and then leaves this girl here who has injured her ankle on the beach, and Mitch comes up to save the day and treats her sprained ankle that she got on the beach with this man.
Yes.
And then she it's a weird setup. Like to find out
definitely some drinks, right? Because like
he had to have.
Okay. Because like it just it was weird.
The whole that conversation that they had, like he was easily manipulated into like
super.
Hey, let's touch my boob a little bit here, and we can have some fun. How's your ankle, by the way? Oh, wait a second, we're having sex now. Like, it was a weird thing that we find out is a setup. So, we get a lot on that in those scenes. One, we find out a little bit more that the firm is like not dealing with the best people, because Sonny Caps talks about like the people are going to break your legs. Like he's not the client that'll break your legs. These other people will break your legs. So we kind of get that like mob thing really early there. We get a little bit of Avery, who again, I like it. I like Gene Hackman in this role. I think he's really good. Charismatic. I think this role was originally supposed to be a girl. I think Meryl Streep was supposed to play Avery.
Whoa.
And
Okay.
Mitch was supposed to sleep with Avery instead of this whole setup thing. She was going to be like this older woman, slightly older woman that, you know, kind of puts him in his place kind of thing. So that's an interesting little fun fact.
Yeah.
Rip Gene. Is Gene Hackman dead?
I have no idea.
Spencer, I need you to give me a date and time, please. Put it in the chat. Thank you. And then we get obviously the lengths that the firm will go to manipulate and keep people at the firm and compliant, I think is a good thing. What do you got? What's another one you got for me?
Yeah, I think pretty shortly after that, this sort of the back-to-back scenes where he starts like he gets into it with the FBI. Like we've already kind of seen Ed Harris's character and partner like stop by, but we don't really know like who they are yet. But then like we have the full-on like sit down with the FBI and they reveal like what all is going on with the firm, like who they're actually like responsible for with the I don't remember the name, but Chicago Mafia family. And then like immediately after that, after you know he's getting propositioned to like help out the FBI and steal files and stuff, then we go back to the firm's like security meeting with the head of security guy and
Wilford Brimley.
Yeah. And we find out that they've got like pictures of that whole beach indiscretion.
Oh
So
my
now
gosh.
he's like getting it from both sides, like back to back, like, hey, steal files for the FBI. Oh, don't help out the FBI because we'll ruin your life.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's in one of my favorite quotes. I've got a quote from the security guy, Wilford Brimley, that is just so good. We also get introduced to like I think kind of in the middle of all this, we get introduced to Mitch's brother, who's in jail in Arkansas. He's in the Wrightsville prison in Arkansas, which shout out Arkansas. We get it. David Strathairn playing Ray in a weird role. Like I've seen David Strathairn in many things. This one just felt out of place for him. He usually plays like a very clean cut guy. Like, I don't know. It was weird seeing him.
I mean, he still looked pretty good for
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Dude, he's got
But
that
yeah.
like 5 o'clock shadow. He looked good.
Yeah.
He looked good. But we get introduced to him. He tells him, I guess, to go to this Eddie Lomax private investigator. They were, and I love it. Gary Busey's firing on all cylinders here. He's
what, 5
insane.
minutes of screen time?
Yeah, 5 minutes of screen time. He's like, I'll investigate these dead lawyers and all this stuff, and not to and we also get introduced to Holly Hunter in this scene as his like secretary who he's sleeping with. Secretary, yeah. And I love Holly Hunter too. She's wonderful. Especially in roles like this. She's she's good in like a slightly comedic role. And she gets nominated for this. It's insane.
I feel like she had like really the only, well, Gary Busey, if you count him, but like comedy throughout, you know, because he's in and out pretty quick. But after that, like you don't get much comedy from anybody else in the movie at all.
No, not at all. Wilford Brimley, he makes me laugh. But other than that, yeah.
Elvis is the only other.
I forgot about Elvis. Tammy's husband, Elvis, Aaron, whatever his last name is. So good. Yeah, so we get that. We get to introduced, and then like Eddie Lomax, like we don't even get to see Eddie like investigating or anything. I guess he's just like called around, and then all of a sudden he gets murdered by the Nordic man with the long hair, and then the Stumpy man. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he said
it's
Squatty or
Squatty.
Or
that's what it is. Squatty man. That's how they're marked in the credits.
Yeah.
So the Squatty man.
Right there, Squatty man.
And but Eddie does get one Homegirl's underneath the desk, so they don't know she's there, and she's doing whatever she needs to do. I got that one written down too. A good line from her.
Nice.
He gets murdered, but he gets to shoot the knee out of the squatty man, which is great and helps Mitch later in the movie. So I'm gonna go back to you. What else you got?
Yeah, after that, like, I mean, there's just so many like connections of the web that it's weaving throughout. But I think the next big one for me was like sort of the beginning of Tom Cruise's or Mitch's idea on how he's gonna like figure this out and get it all sorted out. It kind of starts with him meeting with that one client, and they're talking about like billable hours, yada yada yada, and it's like you kind of like see the light bulb go off, and he starts like forming the plan from there with the help of Holly Hunter, Tammy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I was a little confused during the meet. I was like, so what are they doing? At first, he like got her to start making copies of something.
Yeah. He was gonna just start with like stealing the files like he was supposed to for the FBI, which was gonna like
that would end up with him being disbarred, right?
Ruin his career, yeah, because he break the confidentiality. So then he gets this idea that he can work around that, kind of gifted to him by this other client, and he formulates a scheme from there.
Yeah, that was good. I like the ending with that. That's such a good thing. Yeah. So what else? The only reason I keep probing you is because the only other scene I have is just like the end.
The end, yeah. Yeah, there was like I wrote down so many and then I was like, well, there's too many. So the next big one, I guess, for me that was important was like when they found out one of the big plot points of their whole plan was like Avery's coming back to the Caymans. Mitch can't come with him this time, so they have to like work around that, and they come up with a way that they're gonna get to the files while he's out scuba diving.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you learn like, oh, it's a short trip. He's not gonna scuba dive this time because you can't fly and scuba dive within 24 hours or something like that. So
yeah, it's very reliant on the whole scuba diving and flying.
Yeah, not my favorite kind of thing that movies do sometimes, like a very like a crutch, I guess. But you know, from there they have to sort of like rework the whole plan. But really they don't. The only thing that gets reworked is like Abby decides she's gonna like insert herself and kind of save the day.
Which is weird because Abby, even before this, so like before all this stuff that we're getting to, and I just remembered this as we were talking about it, but like they find out that their house is bugged by everything. Like Mitch has to tell her that they've been listening and we've got to get out and we got to do all this stuff. And then that's a really good scene. I like that where she like runs out of the house and he like whispers in her ear that everything's bad, and then she runs out of the house so they can actually have a conversation about all this. And then he also, I like that scene too because he like turns up the music. It's that typical thing, so that they can't hear. But then there's another scene where he tells her that he cheated on her because Wilford Brimley's like
at a restaurant. Ugh.
Yeah, but that was pretty good. I hate it, man. Poor Abby.
Yeah.
Poor Abby. Throughout this whole thing. But that's some good stuff that we get in there. And like for Abby, who's like, I'm leaving you, to then to renege on that and like go back and say that she ends up helping Mitch. I've got some good quotes from Abby too in my when we get to the quote section that I think are really like pivotal to I really liked Abby. I don't know how you felt about her, but
yeah, she was good. she's no Holly, but like,
She's no
or
Holly,
she's no
but
Tammy.
Holly's also in the yeah. We'll get to that, but anyway, that all leads up to this plan where we're gonna get my brother out of jail. We're gonna go to the Caymans and get the files from the condo that they've been hiding, and
We're also gonna get $750,000 from the FBI. We're just gonna do it all.
does that do? I mean, obviously the FBI would never confirm that, but do people do that? Like, hey,
Store
throw
the
me a
FBI.
quick mill too, and I'll get you whatever you want.
I mean, I feel like his brother probably doesn't have like a happily ever after rest of his life from there. Like somebody hunts him down, right? Like,
Right.
and either kills him and takes the money back, or like he ends up back in prison. Like,
I think one thing during this whole plan that I did not realize was that the FBI were going to take Ray McDeer, Mitch's brother, back to jail.
oh yeah, that was like the authorization he got from the higher ups was like, yeah, release him for now. As soon as we get the files, put him right back in.
Yeah. I think on the first viewing of The Firm, which the first time I watched it was last year, I was so confused by that. I was like, what is going on? Why are they trailing him? Like,
Yeah.
are they just making sure he doesn't like flee the country or something? And then I watched it this time. I was like, oh, I get it now. They're just going to take him back. But I like that whole little scheme where they go to that diner and he leaves with Elvis, and
Elvis
they have
saves the day.
Elvis is great. I love
I
Elvis.
mean, they're a couple of steps behind him, but like, what? I mean, I guess he could get somewhere off the grid, but eventually, like, they're gonna track him down. Like, you don't.
And also, how close are they to like? How I want to know the proximity of the Cayman Islands to wherever they meet up with Elvis,
That's a good point.
because he's getting out of jail he's getting out of jail in Wrightsville, which is south of Little Rock. I know. I don't know what diner they go to. Are they still in Arkansas? Or where are they at? I need to know.
Yeah, it's hard to know because like he just took off, and then the next thing you know, he's like getting dropped off. I guess they went to Louisiana.
Yeah, I mean they had to go to Louisiana. Yeah,
And then,
that's a long drive.
Yeah,
It's like 7 hours to New Orleans from Little Rock. So I don't know. That's a flaw in their plan. The timing was so good, though.
Yeah, I guess they just anticipated like they would have such a head start that they'll never find him. I don't know. Did he pay cash at the diner? Because that's like they were trying to find him with the credit cards. If you paid cash,
Oh yeah,
maybe that gave him enough. I don't know.
I don't know either. He didn't even pay. He just left his stuff.
He just dipped.
I don't know about Elvis or whatever, but like,
Yeah.
they just dipped. And then also like during this time, Abby is helping him and like drugging Avery to like seduce him and give up the key. Like that was good. I like Abby. I like Avery in this movie. I like everything that they've got going on. It always felt like she was a little hesitant with Avery. Like they'd been setting that up the whole movie for her to sleep with him. Kind of
He was flirting with her at the funeral at the beginning.
funeral.
Yeah, it was early.
He was laying it on thick at the funeral. Yeah. I like that part of it. And then we get to like, and all during this, so we've got the whole Ray piece of this. We've got the Abby and Tammy piece of this where they're in the Caymans copying these files or getting these files and everything. And then we've got Mitch, who is messing with the FBI, and then also the firm finding out that he's not what he's been saying this whole time.
Yeah.
And like the firm finding out, and then he has to run from the firm, and then he so happens to just go into somebody's office. And I should have put this down, but when he breaks that, he goes into that other lawyer's office and breaks the window with the chair, and then just jumps out into like a truck full of feathers, and like you get this whole chase scene between him and Wilford Brimley, and the Mud Island chase scene where he's going on like the gondola thing, and it's just a lot of running, a lot of sweating. But and then he eventually gets away from him, and everything's great. The FBI gets screwed over, the firm gets screwed over, the mob is happy. He gets to retain his bar, or he doesn't have to be disbarred or anything like that. What am I missing? I know we're glancing over.
And Abby's like coming back to be with him.
Oh yeah,
giving him a chance.
They're like, let's go to Boston.
The big finish. Let's start over or go back to the beginning. I don't know.
Yeah,
how do you want to phrase it?
Is there any other scene that I missed that is like super key?
I think that about covers everything. It did a pretty good job of like giving you like little pieces of what the plan was along the way versus like just like this is what's happening. Like I think that was part of what kept me so engaged, is because I was like, I still don't understand, like, how is his brother gonna get out of this, like, and how is he gonna get out of this? And so they did a good job of like the slow reveal of kind of the plan along the way. And that's why I think it had to be like as long as it was, just because so much going on.
So you read the book
long time ago. Yes.
Long time ago.
Couldn't tell you any like comparisons.
I was about to say I should have written down like some of the stuff. I know that there's slight differences. Like I do think he might get disbarred. Like I don't know if he does get to keep his. Maybe that's not true, or maybe there's something about him and Abby not being together at the end.
I feel like the whole like loophole that he uses for not getting disbarred actually happened in the book, but again, it's been 20
long
years
time ago. Yeah, 20 years. Maybe I should read some Grisham. All right.
Some Grisham.
Where's my Grisham? Who's your favorite character? I actually split this one up. I have this as a category of favorite character / scene stealer. So I split this up because I have two.
I'm not okay.
We can disagree. That is,
we mentioned it, and I'm not going to pick him because it's too obvious for scene stealer. So I'm going to say Holly Hunter for me was the best in the scene stealer.
I have Tammy as my scene stealer.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have Abby as my favorite character in this.
Okay. I think favorite overall character, as far as like what the character did and the performance, I think was Ed Harris.
Okay. I thought you were going to go with Gene Hackman, because that was my second, was Avery.
Gene Hackman
I really
was
liked
good.
Avery.
I didn't feel like, no hate to Gene Hackman, but I didn't feel like he was the right fit, like attractiveness level wise.
Yeah.
For like the sort of like, I don't know. He talked about like jumping around to a lot of women. I just feel like we can talk about it more in like maybe like the recast section, but
yeah,
that kind of put me off a little bit. But I think he was very good in the role.
Joe wants hot dudes. That's what chat said.
Happy well, June. Yeah, of course.
Who doesn't want hot dudes?
You're right. Be like, stealing Abby from Tom Cruise, you should probably be a little bit better looking,
That's a good point.
I said it. I'm sorry, Gene.
I'm in a Gene mood right now because I just watched again for the second time this year the Royal Tenenbaums, and he's so good in the Royal Tenenbaums, like so freaking good. So I'm in a Gene mood. But yeah, no, Abby's my favorite character in this. I think in the first time, like I was really drawn to Tammy and Eddie Lomax, and like they're fun characters and everything. But Abby this time I really paid attention to, and like she knew from the very beginning that this was not good, and I don't know. I thought she was really good, and I still love Jean Triplethorne in this. I don't know what happened to her.
Yeah,
I can't really name. I can name 2 movies that she's in, and I know she was a kind of a big deal at the time, but I really, really liked her. I love Abby.
she did great. Just her character like didn't get enough maybe opportunities to shine until like the very end.
I was about to say the scene between her and Gene Hackman, like right before he is like passing out.
Mid roofie.
Yeah, mid roofie, definitely. When he is mid roofied and she is committing to this, like I think that's so good. I think that's one of the strongest scenes in the movie, like especially between 2 people. So,
Yeah,
but Tammy's wonderful.
Tammy was awesome.
Tammy's awesome. She's incredible.
She's definitely like my overall favorite.
All right, you got any favorite quotes?
I do. Here, you can go ahead with yours because I didn't write them all in one spot. I wrote them like in between the scenes. So.
All right, so I've got 2 that are. I've got some Abby highlights. So there's a scene with Mitch and Abby where Mitch says, "Did I lose you?" This is after he's told her that he's cheated on her and that he's got this like plan and everything. And he says, "Did I lose you?" And she says, "You look tired." He said, "Did I?" Like he is so like frantic and like, "Did I lose you?" And she says, "I've loved you all my life, even before we met. Part of it wasn't even you. It was just a promise of you. But these last days, you kept your promise. How could you lose me?" And I'm just like, yes, that's so good.
That's deep, right? That's towards the end.
Yes, that is deep.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I think that's after all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right before they load up to Boston. Yeah, that's a really good one.
And then she has the classic line of "somewhere inside in the dark, the firm is listening," which I think is, that's just a good one of like, you can put that on the movie poster. That's a good one.
Yep.
We
also, talking about Abby, like when they had the Mercedes at the beginning and she was like, "Oh, where's yours?" It was just like a quick one that got me pretty good. I think one of my favorites was, I remember who said it, but it was at the barbecue party. Somebody says to Abby, "It's the South, Abby. We encumber you with hospitality." I was like, man, that's so true.
Yeah.
And then let's see. I think I had another one somewhere.
I'm glad we have separate quotes. I like this.
Or maybe I didn't write it down. I don't know. That's all I got, I think.
Tammy, whenever Mitch is asking her about like why didn't they know she was there, she was like, "I was under the desk. I was vacuuming the rug. Do you want me to draw you a diagram?" I love that.
Yeah, that's a good one that I didn't write down.
And then when Devasher or whatever, Wilford Brimley's character is talking to Mitch, he's showing him the pictures and everything. He's like, she goes down to the mailbox. She gets a red book. And what does she discover? Like all this stuff.
Oh, yeah,
yeah. And then he says, "Not just screwing, Mitch, all sorts of intimate acts, oral and whatnot. That can't be particularly hard for a trusting wife to forgive you and impossible to forget." I just love the all sorts of intimate acts, oral and whatnot. Like this old man, this is Wilford Brimley, diabetes guy, saying oral and whatnot.
Yeah.
So he gets freaky.
Yeah. Apparently. We never see like the extent, but
Spencer, she wasn't vacuuming the rug.
It's a 90s euphemism, all right?
Or oral and whatnot. That's what she was doing, my man.
Was she really though, or did she just like hopped under there when?
Oh yeah,
people came in, right? Like she wasn't actually.
That's really what happened.
Okay.
She was like, I think she just came in and like.
Maybe she was going to, depending on who it was. Like maybe that was their thing. I don't know. Being freaky until it got like scary.
Yeah, I don't know. You got any other quotes? Those are the only ones I wrote down. It's not like super quotable.
Right. There's a lot of like, I didn't find like a lot of super quotable ones. So that's all I got.
All right. Biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill?
Laugh was definitely just the screen time with Busey.
Hmm.
That might have been like the biggest like emotional moment in the whole movie for me. Like I feel like it wasn't like a lot of like emotion evoked, Nothing real
Hmm.
sad happened. Like there were some like little quotes for comedy, but yeah, that's all I got for that. And then I guess the biggest like shocking moment for me was actually at the very very beginning, um, when Abby's going into the apartment, like after all the interviews, he's gotten the offer, the big time money or whatever, and he just grabs her like as soon as she gets in the door and like slings her on the couch. I was like, it like really caught me off guard. So yeah, that was my like biggest shocking moment.
I put when Mitch is like hanging from above in the abandoned building. That was like my biggest like thrill.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, I know this was before Mission Impossible, but it felt like
Very Mission Impossible. The
so
sweat.
similar. Yeah,
Yeah.
like dripping down.
But also it's Wilford Brimley. Like, how are we not getting away from this guy?
Yeah, and I mean Tobin Bell too is like he doesn't look like I mean, even with
He
that
looks
hair,
the same that he did
he
in
doesn't look
Saw.
spry.
No, he
Yeah.
does not look spry at all. Well, yeah, the only thing he would be remembered for is hopping off the floor in Saw. So, um, most ridiculous or WTF moment? It's very MTV category, but
Yeah, just the shootout again with like that's like the only real like violence in the movie with Busey.
I put the yeah, that was pretty great. I put the backflip.
The
Or
backflip, yeah,
him flipping on Beale Street is ridiculous.
yeah,
And then also just to add to, and I think we already talked about it in the chat, but the convenience of the feathers, of
yes.
the truck full of feathers. I think I had that down as my.
They like mentioned it at one point too, like in passing. He's like, "You can't park this truck here every day," and like,
I
okay,
had no idea.
that's probably gonna come back
I had
around.
no idea. You just blew my mind.
Yeah, it's like very short. Like I don't know if it's somebody from the building or a cop or somebody, but the camera's like panning past it, and he's like, "You're just gonna park here every day or something like that." Like, and I was like,
Wow.
okay, that's gonna be
Well, now I
important.
changed. Now I changed my mind. It's super. It's good. Good for them.
Yeah,
I've never. Yeah. No, you blew my mind.
you're welcome.
Best music moment. I'm really interested to see this because I have an opinion.
Oh, okay. I have an opinion as well. I thought the music throughout was incredible. And we're opposites.
We are complete opposites.
Wow. Okay.
I think I hate it. I
Okay.
don't like the jazz score. I know it's mostly piano and stuff. Like, I just, in my opinion, again, only my opinion, because I mean, obviously it got nominated for best score.
Yes.
I just don't think it lends itself to the correct movie that it's in.
Yeah, I very strongly disagree. I thought it was perfect.
Yeah.
And I thought there was a lot of like versatility throughout like the jazzy piano. Like sometimes it was a good setup for like a tense moment, but sometimes it was very endearing. Like my favorite music moment was like when they're driving into Memphis, like that little like piano part was like so beautiful. It almost felt like a wedding or something. Like it was really great.
Now, in the fun parts, I think the jazz worked well. Like the beginning scene when he's popping around all the different interviews and the Memphis scene, like introducing them to the firm. I like it then, but there are some like very tense scenes. And again, I'm not trying to like force you to think my way by any means, or anybody watching or listening or doing whatever. But like it took me out of it. I was like, what the hell is this music? But somebody just asked in chat, what would I rather have been? The music, I don't know. Like, I think I needed some strings in there. I think I needed some something in there.
You just needed more than like piano.
Yeah. I think I think it just threw me off a little bit.
Okay,
I don't know.
that's fair.
Is there a particular moment that you really, really liked? with
With
the
the
music.
Oh yeah, it was that moment where they're like driving into Memphis is like stand out to me. Like it was really good.
That's a good one. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I don't
You
know
had
why.
no standout moments, obviously.
No, I didn't. I hated it. I hated the music. I had 2 complaints about this movie. We'll talk about it. All right. I think I've got a good one. So I'm taking
Oh,
out
boy.
most dateable. Even if you have somebody listed down. Who is your most dateable? It's Tammy, isn't it?
Well, obviously, yeah.
It's obviously Tammy. All right. For F Mary Kill, I've got two times.
Okay.
Abby, Tammy, and the beach prostitute or beach sex worker, as we call them now.
Okay. Dang. I think the beach prostitute is a kill for me. She didn't really seem like that stunning. And maybe it was just like they were like in the dark, so maybe like I don't know, maybe she just needed some light, but yeah. That was one of my biggest problems with the whole movie is like she just didn't really seem like the kind of girl that like I'm gonna destroy my marriage over, like not saying that you should have a type of girl for that scenario, but like yeah. Anyways, I hope you understand what I'm saying.
No, I understand completely what you're saying.
I feel like it came across really wrong there, but we'll just move on. So yeah, she would be my kill, and then I mean, I feel like Abby's probably like the more like Mary material, but I probably would still choose Tammy.
Tammy,
just
that crooked little mouth.
Crooked little mouth, It'd be a wild life,
That's not even her best feature.
Well, what is?
They'll have to find out. I love that.
Get on that boat and find out, baby.
I love that Ray and her just are like, yeah, we're gonna hook up.
Might as well.
And she still got Elvis. He's on the line.
Yeah, he'll do anything for her.
She's a fast mover, man. All right. Avery, Agent Terrence, and Devonshire.
Wait, which one is Devonshire?
He's the Wilford Brimley character.
Okay. I feel like see, that's tricky because who do you marry out of all those guys? Avery's gonna be sleeping around on you.
True. It's very true.
Terrence, it seems like he's got like some big time anger issues, like he does in every role.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you just marry Devonshire, like for the money? I don't know.
Oral and whatnot.
No, he's gonna die. You kill him.
Kill him.
Okay, kill him. And then let's see. Lesser two evils here. Oof, I don't know. I guess you go with Avery for marriage.
I'm flipping. I'm going Avery for a good time, and then Agent Terrence for marriage. Yeah, he's got that government paycheck. Like he's fine. Like yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's some problems at home with that marriage.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's not gonna be a good marriage.
Yeah, well, yeah. I feel like at least with Avery, like he still says he loves his wife, and she like understands that he just needs to sleep around or something like that. I can't remember how
he lets his freak flag fly.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think Avery. I think I marry Avery. I don't know.
Yeah. I love this part. This is my favorite part.
I knew you were going to come with a tough one too.
Because it gets weird, and I love to get weird, guys.
Yeah, you got to
get weird. To get weird.
Honestly, I thought you were going to throw Tobin Bell in there somewhere.
Oh man. I think I'd kill him every time. You could put the worst people in there, but Tobin Bell, I don't know. His Saw character has ruined that person for me forever.
Yeah. You'll never
as Jigsaw is just
anyone else.
No. Oh God, he's awful.
Especially not a long-haired blonde, like no.
Not at all. He's gross. Gross. I just keep seeing him like peel the like wound off his face from Saw, the first Saw. I keep seeing that in my mind.
Jeez.
Ooh, sorry. Ooh. If you haven't seen Saw, it's been 20 years,
20
guys.
years late.
It is 20 years. All right, best performance.
Hmm. Uh, you know, we haven't really mentioned it, but this is Tom Cruise in his 90s wheelhouse. I feel like either him or Gene Hackman are like best like acting performance in the movie. And
I
I
like it.
think I give Tom Cruise the edge.
I like it. Of course, I went with Tammy or Abby. I think are doing the best performance, but I kind of like what you're saying here about Tom Cruise and Gene Hackman. They are both kind of firing on. I've said that many times
Love
before.
Cylinders.
Firing. I love Cylinders, but like seriously, we're talking Rain Man in '88, Born on the 4th of July in '89, Days of Thunder in '90. Far and Away is kind of a stinker in '92. Few Good Men in '92. The Firm. Then he goes on to like Interview with the Vampire, Mission Impossible, Jerry Maguire, Eyes Wide Shut. Like
Ooh.
he's killing it. And then Magnolia. He does Eyes Wide Shut and Magnolia in the same year. Like this is like a 10-year run of just
Ringo.
killing it. Like he's doing good. And we could even
And
go
he
back.
probably runs in all of
Oh, Tom Cruise runs in every movie.
them.
Every movie. He's a good runner.
He really is.
I want to know what he like. I've never been a fan of running, but you're right. Like, let me look at Gene Hackman's IMDb here. I got to see what he's doing because I know he's got Hunt for Red October in here somewhere.
It's around there.
I
don't know. I didn't look at his very much.
got you, man. I got you. So we're looking at 93. He's got Unforgiven the year before, 92. Great Clint Eastwood Western movie. The Quick and the Dead he shoots in 94. That's great. Crimson Tide he's got going on. Or I guess that's his movie, not Hunt for Red October.
Was he not in Hunt for Red October? Was that Connery? That was Connery, wasn't it?
That was Connery, Sean
Dang.
Connery. So yeah, we're both wrong. Sorry. Crimson Tide though. Same
Tide.
thing.
That's the one we were thinking of.
Yeah. Get Shorty, The Birdcage. Like you're right. Like they're just Postcards from the Edge was in 1990. This is a good little run for both of those people.
Yeah.
So you're not wrong. But Tammy or Holly Hunter is the one that gets the nomination for this movie. I had Gene Hackman written down as well, so we're simpatico on this. Simpatico. All right. Recast. You can either do a 93 recast, you could do a 2023 recast, or you could do both of them. I chose to do lead characters only. I've got a couple things to throw out, and I love to see what Mississippi Burning. Somebody mentioned Mississippi Burning. I think that was 1988. Mississippi Burning is a great movie. If you haven't seen that, sorry, I got distracted. Recasting. I don't know if you did both. But what do you think? 93, 2000. I only did 2023. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, I didn't have much for 93. And maybe this is just from movies that we've watched previously in the year, but I thought maybe like I've already said my bit about Gene Hackman, so Robert Redford jumped out at me as like a potential spot because he's like.
He's a little bit more good looking, like
a little better looking, but still like very suave and like professional and lawyerly. And I thought he could be like pretty interchangeable in that role.
Yeah, I think that would have been good.
That's all I had for 93.
Okay. 2023.
Yeah. So for Tom Cruise, I was thinking either like John David Washington jumped out as like a good kind of like thrillery, but also like he looks good and like dresses well and all that. The other one that I thought might be a good like he's good in like thrillers. Oscar Isaac.
Oh yeah, that would have been good.
I couldn't really think of like a lot of good ones for Abby. I put down Kate Mara as like kind of like she's attractive, like kind of like a B lister almost. But she does a really good job in like thriller type roles. So
Okay.
um, and then I had the hardest time with like Gene Hackman's character. I thought it would be cool if they were to reshoot it like for Tom Cruise to jump
Yes.
as the old guy.
Yes.
You said that too? No
Yes.
way.
That's exactly what I had down.
We
I said
didn't plan this, guys.
We did not plan this. Tom Cruise in the role of Gene Hackman
Wow.
solidifies it.
Man, talk about simpatico.
That's what I'm talking about,
Crazy.
man. No, Tom Cruise, definitely. You put Tom Cruise in this movie in that role. 100%.
All right.
I wrote, so the thing when I was doing, I went real analytical on this in the way that I was like, all right, how old are you going to be when you graduate law school? So I was like 25, 26. And so I looked at all those characters, and the same, like Timothée Chalamet came up, Tom Holland came up, which, I mean, they could probably both do it. Dylan Minnette, he is the guy from 13 Reasons Why. He's also in Scream 5.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got the dyed blonde hair. Also, Jack's son in Lost, season 6. If anybody wants to watch that. Also, a bad guy in Never Let Me Go, or Never Let You Go, or Let the Right One In. That's what it is.
Somebody, jeez.
But I said this is an interesting, probably not the best actor, but Noah Centineo. He's from those Netflix movies, To All the Boys I Loved Before. It's really, really like I just feel like he's got a very tall, like even though Tom Cruise is not a tall man, Tom Holland probably fits the Tom Cruise role better than anybody. But Noah Centineo, like I just feel like he gives off I think he would have been really good. He could do something like this. Who did you have anybody for Abby?
I didn't. Oh wait, just Kate Mara. Yeah.
Kate Mara. I put, again, I was going age wise. I said she could even be a little bit younger. I had Haley Steinfeld.
Okay.
Or Caitlin Dever from Booksmart, not the Beanie Feldstein character, but the other main character.
Oh, okay.
It was like she seems like like she could be a elementary school teacher, and also very skeptical of everything that they're doing. I felt like that would be good. And then the only other role I recast other than those three, Mitch, Abby, and Avery, Tom Cruise for Avery, 100%. There's no other person. For Tammy, I had two people: Tatiana Maslany, who is She-Hulk, the girl that plays She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Or Rachel Brosnahan, which is the marvelous Miss Maisel, if you've ever seen Miss Maisel.
Yes. Okay.
I feel like
that's the only thing I've seen her in, so I'm not.
And then with Tammy, I also I was like, Jennifer Lawrence could do it because she could. But then I was like, I don't know if I like that. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, she could do it. She can do pretty much anything.
She's pretty good. So I
like the Tatiana one though. That's good.
I think Tatiana would be good. Yeah. So there was another quote there was another question in chat. I don't want to miss it. What is your favorite, or what's your least favorite and your most favorite Tom Cruise movie? I know this is on the spot. It's on the spot for me too.
I'm not sure about least favorite. I'm sure there's some ones I've seen along the way that are less good, but I also haven't seen like a lot of his earlier movies. One of my pairings with this is another Tom Cruise, and it's up there. I don't know if it's my absolute favorite, but Eyes Wide Shut, you already mentioned.
I thought about that one.
Yeah, I think acting wise too, like War of the Worlds is pretty spectacular.
I actually watched War of the Worlds for the first time, I think this year or maybe late last year, but really like that. My favorite might be Collateral.
Okay. Wow.
I love Tom Cruise. I love Tom Cruise. Collateral. He is he never plays the bad guy, and in Collateral, he is the bad guy, and he's
Well, here's the bad guy in Tropic Thunder.
kinda. Give me a break. Mission Impossible 2. That might be my least favorite. No, I my least favorite is Far and Away. I know you've probably. I don't know if you've ever seen Far and Away. He has the worst Irish accent I've ever heard of any human being possible. It's not good. I don't know if anybody has seen that. Jack, somebody in the chat said Jack Reacher movies. If you've ever seen those, Jack Reacher.
I saw the first one.
That was a real controversial casting when it happened because the guy that Jack Reacher, who is playing the guy who plays Jack Reacher in the television show version of Jack Reacher, is like the exact build and body type and height and all this stuff and blonde version. And then they cast Tom Cruise in these movies and it was terrible. So yeah, Far and Away is definitely far and away the worst movie I've ever seen him in. Spencer, shut up.
I can't see what he's saying.
He said Colin Farrell has a pretty bad Irish accent.
What?
He's stupid. Okay, so I got a couple fun facts for you. The Did You Know section. Holly Hunter's only on screen for 5 minutes and 59 seconds.
No way.
For a 2-hour.
That tells you how fast it moves because she's in so many scenes.
And how like impactful she is in it. She's only in the movie. She's the one of the shortest to get nominated for Best Supporting Actress too.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for her.
I think I already went over this one. Was the director wanted Mitch to have an affair with Avery and had, you know, Meryl Streep in that role. So that was something that they had listed there.
Is that just something that like people try to do, like when you have a source material, like it's all like written out and everything? They try to pull that kind of stuff so it like throws off the audience, or like
I don't know. I wonder if it had something to do with like time and stuff too. Like instead of giving him this weird mentor, they have this like actual relationship between Tom Cruise and this character instead of the weird like bromance, which it wasn't really a bromance.
What? It was like
they were barely together. Like they only had a few scenes together.
He was basically, he was taking advantage of him just like you would expect like them to do to a first year associate or whatever.
All right. And this question came in the chat earlier about whether you can dive and fly and how accurate that is. So it is repeatedly stated that a person should not dive and fly on the same day. Actually, after a single non-compression dive, it's okay to fly at high altitudes within 12 hours. For multiple non-compression dives or a series of them over several days in a row, an 18-hour wait is recommended. For compression dives, those that require pauses for decompression on the way up, a 24-hour wait is recommended. For small plane flights that don't reach more than a couple thousand feet, a 2-hour wait is recommended. However, in an era before everyone had a computer in their pocket, it was best to just remember the maximum for safety. So it was pretty accurate for the time for people to wait 24 hours. So
that's good. I appreciate the full synopsis and kind of where, because I do feel like that was almost like a crutch, but I guess not so much if it was good.
You have any did you look up any fun facts or anything?
I got nothing.
That's all right. I put down these things when I said like good movie. I wanted to say a couple negative things about this movie. I do enjoy this movie. I think it's a fun watch, but like I think in my mind the length is so like this movie's so long. I think you could cut out 30 minutes of this movie and have a solid thriller. And fun thriller.
Even like I think even like 10-15 would help a lot. It didn't feel like it was like obnoxiously long, but it did kind of like by the end of it, I was like, okay, I feel like we could have done better, like trimming some of this out.
Yeah.
Um,
So, and then I also said I didn't like the score, but whatever.
Sometimes you just have to let people have their opinions.
Do you have anything
even
that
if the
you
Academy disagrees?
do you have anything that you would really change other than the length?
The other like kind of super convenient thing that I didn't like was when the fax printed out and like went under the fax machine, only to be discovered like later, and
Mhm.
it was out of paper. Like that was like super convenient, that I didn't love. And then so he broke a beer bottle. This is way early on in the movie. Tom Cruise discovers like the closet with all the files or whatever. He's in there. He breaks a beer bottle in there, right?
Mhm.
While he's trying to get out before Gene Hackman comes in. We never like revisit that, or there's never any like. I thought it kind of seemed like the way it happened, like, oh, next time Avery comes here and like is looking through the closet, he's gonna be like,
Why is there a broken beer bottle in
yeah,
here?
but we never like it never comes
Yeah.
back around. No,
I never even thought about that. I think that was just a really long commercial for Red Stripe.
maybe, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm just no, I didn't even think about it honestly, but you're right. Like it never comes back around, and
Yeah, it kind of seemed like one of those like small details, like the truck when they were passing it.
yeah,
That it was going to come back around for some sort of, maybe Abby slips on it when she goes in the closet and like
dies.
hurts her head, and like that messes with the plan. Like I don't know, but it just nothing. Never brought back.
You never know.
I hate it.
That's okay. Yeah, good call on the red. Yeah, that was the only like ad placement I saw in this. I didn't really see anything else, but yeah, he was like, grab a Red Stripe from the refrigerator. I was like, Red Stripe. I've drank one of those once.
Yeah. Is it from the Caymans?
It might be, and it's
wonder if that's
Jamaica
why.
or Caymans or whatever. All right. And my favorite part of this is the movie pairing. You've already kind of hinted at Eyes Wide Shut. I don't know if you have any others, but go for it. Explain why.
Yeah, I thought Eyes Wide Shut is, I feel like it doesn't get a lot of attention like it should. I'm a pretty big Kubrick guy, and since it was, I guess, the last one before he passed away, it's a weird one. Like it's not something that you just like sit down and watch casually. But I feel like it had some of the same like thriller elements in a different situation. Definitely not like legal and crime as much, but it kind of had like couple dynamics that were a little bit similar and stuff. So
Mhm.
I don't know. It just kind of seemed like it would be a good like Tom Cruise doubleheader.
Yeah. Anything else?
I thought of one while we were talking, but I can't remember if it comes back to me.
Okay. I picked, this is a weird one, Suspiria.
Okay.
And the reason I picked it is just because of the like, hey, once you're Suspiria is this it's been remade, but it was like a 70s Italian horror film about this ballet company. And it's kind of like when you're in the ballet company, you're a part of this like secret society thing. And I kind of got Firm vibes from that. And so I was like, that would be an interesting thing. Like once you're in the ballet company, you gotta you gotta do all this weird stuff that we say. So I thought that'd be a pretty interesting. I was looking up secret society things and stuff like that, like the Skulls. That's a late 90s movie about the frat club, whatever. And then I also came across Eyes Wide Shut, and I was like, oh yeah, that'd be a good one for this, and Tom Cruise. So
yeah,
I'm glad you said it. So
yeah,
yeah, that's the only one I wrote down was Suspiria. I was like, yeah, this will be good.
I wanted to say like a Few Good Men too, but I felt like that was like a little too
Courtroom drama, just to go double header there.
Similar.
Yeah, I try to go weird always.
Suspiria. I mean, you're not wrong, and I didn't even think about it, but yeah, it's definitely like the same sort of like
And they, and if
culty
you do
vibes.
something bad, they'll take you out. Like,
Way crazier.
yes, it
But
is.
yes.
It is definitely an off the wall selection. But and I haven't seen. I don't think I've not seen the '70s Dario Argento one. I've only seen the
Yeah.
newer one. But Mia Goth's in it, and I'm in a big Mia Goth place right now. She's awesome. She's incredible.
And
Uh,
what's her name is in it? Who's the main girl? In the newer one.
Dakota Johnson. Sorry,
Johnson. Why can't I ever think of her name?
no, I love
Yeah.
Dakota Johnson.
Dakota Johnson. Yeah.
Yeah, she's incredible. So watch Suspiria. It's scary and great. It's Suspiria. Suspiria. I think it's on Amazon Prime if you want to watch it. New Suspiria. All right. So rewatchability rating on The Firm.
I gave it a 3.5. I just dinged it a little bit just because like I feel like 2.5 this day and age is kind of a hard ask for a lot of things, or for a lot of people, like jumping into a 2.5 hour movie. So other than that, like that, there's nothing really like hard to watch per se. Like so, rewatchability was fine.
Yeah, I think I like that 3.5. I think that's good because it's a fun movie. I think to watch, and like especially if you come in at any like if you're not watching from the beginning. I feel like if you know the movie and have seen the movie, you could probably pop in it numerous times during the movie and be like, oh, here's where we're at during this thing. So I think it's got a good way to do that. What's your overall star rating?
Overall was the same, like 3.5.
Same.
It's like good, but I wouldn't say it's like
just trim the fat. That's all I want.
Exceptional. Yeah. It's solid though.
Yeah, solid. Well, does anybody else have anything? Anybody in the chat want to talk about or bring up anything? And while you're doing that, if you have anything, I want to thank Joseph for getting on here and watching The Firm. I know that it was on HBO and then it was taken off in the middle of last week before any of us could get to it. So it's a little unfortunate there. But I do want to give you an opportunity to talk about any movie recommendations or something that you've recently watched that it could be a lot of movies if you're in you've been watching a lot of them, or one or two. So this is your time to shine. I'll give some as well once you're done, but wanted to give you the opportunity to let people know what you're watching.
Movie recommendation. I haven't seen like a ton of movies since I was last on here, but two that I would definitely recommend to everyone. Finally saw The Woman King, which was very good. Viola Davis, and I don't know the name of the young lady that was like opposite her, but they were both just really, really good. And it was like it was a good story, like, and being based off of like a true story to whatever extent. Like it's really cool to see like this elite group of females that could just like destroy anyone. And there was a lot of cool dynamics and stuff. So definitely would recommend that. And then most recently, which I know you also saw and we haven't gotten to talk about yet, but the new Spider-Man movie, the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse. I don't remember the tagline or whatever, but that just came out.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Across, thank you. These prepositions
Yeah.
throw me off. Yes, it was very good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I saw that you gave it. I watched Across the Spider-Verse on Friday night. Highly recommend if you're a big fan of those movies. It was pretty incredible. It's a workout like for your brain. Like I was exhausted after watching it.
Super artistic though. Like I love, yeah. If you've seen the first one, very artistic as well. They kind of like leaned into that a little more heavily this time, I feel like. So
it was beautiful visually.
Yeah.
I only have two. I've watched a lot of movies in the last week. I'll say I have three recommendations. Sorry.
Okay.
I have one is Infinity Pool. It's a kind of like a horror, movie. It's by Brandon Cronenberg, who's David Cronenberg's son. If you've ever watched any David Cronenberg stuff, there's a lot of like body horror and weird stuff in there. But I was talking about Mia Goth earlier. She's in Infinity Pool, and it's pretty unique and great. Speaking of David Cronenberg, I've watched his movie Dead Ringers, which has a new Amazon Prime show starring Rachel Weisz, but the original has Jeremy Irons playing twins. They're both twin gynecologists, and very unique and very twisted, and I just really liked it a lot. And Jeremy Irons freaking kills it in that movie. But the movie that really shocked me, and it's something that I had no idea anything about, and it's an Amazon Prime movie. It came out in 2019. I recommended it to you. I recommended it to Spencer. It's called The Vast of Night. And it doesn't have any stars in it or anything like that. It is just, and it basically takes place with these two young people in 1950s New Mexico, and they hear this sound come across their through their phone line or in their radio station, and it's really I just fell in love with it. It's so good. The script, I feel like, is very tight. There's a lot of dialogue, really quick dialogue. I just really loved it, so highly recommend that to people. It's free on Amazon Prime if you have that, so check that out. Other than that, I guess we can end here. So I want to thank you again, Joseph, for hanging out with me, talking about the firm with me, getting a little Grisham on you. And hopefully we can talk again soon. We've got some family movies coming up, but not next week. Next week's movie is called In the Line of Fire, starring Clint Eastwood, John Malkovich, and it's I think we're in another action thriller moment there with like Secret Service agents and stuff like that. Unfortunately, it's not streaming free anywhere, and it is streaming only on video on demand or VOD. So you might have to purchase this one, or if you have it on VHS or DVD or Blu-ray or whatever, you can watch it there. And join us next week as we talk about In the Line of Fire. So, and if you have been, I do not have that VHS. I'm sorry. I know it's tough. I'll probably play Unforgiven in the background. It's the only Clint Eastwood movie I have. Anyway, it's going to be great, and we're going to have a good time next week talking about that, and we look forward to hanging out with each and every one of you. If you're new here, drop us a follow. It's on Twitch or YouTube or any of these places. You can watch these over and over again. If that's something that you're interested in doing, or hang out with us, we'll do some other ones. Maybe we'll do a 30-minute one on the smoking in movies. I think that'd be really interesting.
Love it.
Other than that, again, thank you all so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing you all next week on 52/1993.